today we're talking about annoying questions that I get asked about my job. And this happens all the time, and today I'm going to be sharing them with you, but I do want to say that I have the best freaking job on the planet. I know this. I am so lucky, so blessed to get to do this. And so I don't want to come across as complaining, but this does come with the territory, and I'm just warning all of you at home watching that if you too want to be a musician, or if you want to be entrepreneurial, self-employed, or you have a bunch of different passions, like, get used to this, guys. This is going to be par for the course for probably you as well, and so hopefully me sharing my experiences with you today will be somewhat helpful for the rest of you. So without further ado, here are annoying questions I get asked about my job. So let's say I'm at Trader Joe's. True story, this really happened. And the cashier's chatting it up, being super cool, and he goes, "So, what do you do?" And you know what I say? I say, "I'm a musician." And he's checking me out, and he looks up after a couple of things, and he goes, "Yeah, but like, what's your real job?" Whoa, buddy, what's your real job? And I think he thought he was being like cutesy because he like knows that most musicians like can't make a living being musicians. And that's true. Like, full disclosure, I don't make my full living being a musician. I have a bunch of different passions that I do, and it all helps pay the rent at the end of the month. But for him to just go out and be like, "Yeah, but what's your real job? Like, how do you really pay the rent?" Man, that can be taken like a bunch of wrong ways. And what's so unique about this is here in Nashville, which is where I live, everybody's a freaking musician. And I mean like everybody, especially people like my age that kind of look like me. Chances are that people like me are going to be a musician. So everyone already kind of knows it going into it. And I really hate being so predictable and answering that I'm a musician. I wish I was like a panda bear saver or like a brain surgeon or something that would totally throw them off course, but I'm not. I'm the cliche Nashville musician. So what Trader Joe's guy is wondering is, yeah, what do you really do to support yourself? How are you really going to pay for all these groceries that I'm checking out? And then I have to launch into all the 50 things that I do as an entrepreneur. Because you guys know I'm not just a musician. I'm also a fashion designer and a YouTuber and a songwriter and an author, and I'm pretty much just busting my butt trying to be myself for a living and never have to get a day job. And you guys know that because I've talked about being myself for a living, and I've tried to encourage you guys to also follow your passions, figure out how to collect enough of your passions, get smart, get creative, and monetize those so you can be an artist, so you can live that artist lifestyle. Even if you're not living it up in a mansion, I think it's better to get a smaller paycheck and do what you love every day versus getting the big paycheck and kind of being miserable. But if my cashier is just being polite, he probably doesn't want to know about the 10 dozen things that I do on the side to make an income. And so I either have to really get in it with him and have like a 40-minute conversation about this, or just smile politely and pretend that I work at Target. Another annoying question I get about my job usually comes after the fact that we've established I'm a musician. So let's say I'm at a party, someone's like, "What do you do?" I'm like, "I'm a musician." The next question they usually say is, "So do you like playing a band?" And really, I can't fault them for asking that. It's a fair question, and I would probably want to know too if someone told me they were a musician. But what's so tricky about this is that when someone asks, "So do you like playing a band?" they're kind of expecting you to be like, "Yeah, I sing," or "Yeah, I'm a bass player," or whatever. But being in a band is so much more than playing an instrument, and it's like so hard trying to communicate that to people that you have to handle like every single facet of your career, and it's a lot more than just getting up on stage and singing for half an hour. Stuff like killing it on social media, balancing all the numbers, planning tours, planning album releases, staying connected with your fan base, songwriting, making industry connections, and just overall a ton of business stuff that has nothing to do with just playing that instrument. But the person at the party usually doesn't know that because they probably think that I'm one of the many Nashville musicians. And this is where being in a kind of mid-level niche rock band like mine is so hard to explain to people. Because we're obviously not U2, we're obviously not a household name, but we're also doing okay for ourselves. We get to tour the world with our music. We've released 3 albums. We've had our share of success with our music. And it's hard to legitimize that to a stranger and be like, "No, we're like a real band. We're not just like somebody trying to do this. We're like really doing this." And there's really no way to say that without being a total jerk, so I usually just give people the band name, and if they want to look it up at home, that's fine. If not, that's fine too. I really hope this doesn't come across like I'm being just like a total jerk. It's just these are things that I'm dealing with as I'm meeting people here in Nashville. And that brings me to another question that I get often, and that is, "So do you play around town a lot?" And really, that's a sweet question. It's nice of them to want to know where we play. Maybe they want to come see us. It's hard to explain to most people how a band at our level does our touring. Because what we usually do is book between maybe 15 to 25 cities in a specific country or continent, and then we rehearse for a couple weeks, we get it all ready, we put our set together, and then we are in touring mode, and we're doing that for months at a time. But what we don't do, because it's just not efficient at all, is play one-off shows where we're going to the bar down the street on Broadway and, singing our little hearts out and then getting off and then going back to our regular jobs. That doesn't work for us. And for most rock bands, that's not how it works. But most people don't understand that. So I have to explain it to them without being like, well, actually, we go on tour, and if you're lucky, we might come through Nashville, but maybe not. And then the last question that I often get that's kind of hard to explain is, so are you guys on a label? And when they ask this, I think what they're really meaning is, are you a real band? Do people really believe in you? Do you really have a fan base? Are you really an established real thing? Or are you just trying to make it? They're wondering if they should care about my band or not. And this is hard to explain. How do I say, yeah, we were on a label for 5 years and it actually kind of sucked and almost ruined our whole careers, and so we had to get out of that. And now we're independent and loving it. I guess I could just say that. The point is, I feel like every question is so loaded and it requires a solid 90-second explanation and not just the 10-second distilled answer that they're really looking for in a small talk situation. Do you know what I'm saying? So that was some annoying questions that I get asked about my career, my first world rock band problems that I am sharing with you today. Next, I'm gonna share the supporter of the week. Woo! I know you're clapping at home, right? You better be clapping. Today, our supporter of the week is Gregory Rodick. Gregory, thank you so much for supporting the Ariel Show every single week and making it a reality. I appreciate you and all of my wonderful patrons. To all of you watching, thank you. Thank you for being on this journey with me. Thank you for allowing me to have a crazy career that I can't explain to anyone. I love all of you so much. Please click here to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.